Welcome. I hope everyone's going well tonight. So yeah, let's jump straight into it. Yep, that's what we want. We also want to go into here and run watch. Easy done. We've got that all up and running. Local host, easy done. Okay, cool. What we're doing tonight is we're continuing on with the GDPR stuff. So, GDPR wizard. Alright, cool. I'm going to actually jump into dark mode because it's winter. So, there we go. Now, socks. She's like, I want to cause trouble. No. She's like, yes. I'm like, no. Yes. Alright, in your bed. Stop causing trouble. First off, we have to fix this problem down here. So we're just going to fix that up very, very quickly. What's happening is it's showing that when it shouldn't be. And that might be on at this level. Yeah, so we don't have the display tab coming through correctly. So it should be coming through with that. And if we go into inspect all of this, we'll see this row doesn't have a problem. This one has a display, nothing. And this one doesn't have anything. Now, the reason being might be very, very simple. It might be because we're not starting with a div row. I hate when that happens. Yeah, we're not starting with a div row. Yeah, but it's easy to do. Done. Alright, that should be it. I'm just gonna wait a couple of seconds. I'm gonna hit reload. There we go. Cool. And we want to go customer. We want to search customer. We then want to, yeah, alright, cool. Easy done. Yeah, there's certain other bugs which we've got to search for. Sorry, not bugs. There's certain other sort of issues that with this, so this might not get everything back in time. We kind of need a little warning, be like, hey, there's no data, please wait, type of situation. Yeah, just have that loading appear. Otherwise we got this, oh sorry, do apologize. We should fetch the data and then we've got everything broken up, and then yeah, we just need the confirmations. The confirmation will just be like who's going to accept what and so forth like that. And what do I mean by that is when the when for example you're removing a user, you'll need to actually tell the system, hey, by the way, we don't want this cascading delete to actually hurt you. We're going to get you to change the change user and the migrate, and the the change user and the creation user, and we're going to get you to move them to this particular user. So yeah. All right. But first, we sort of got to fetch the data. So when we're in here, it's got to get the data. Now, it's not getting it at the moment, but that's not a problem. So going in here. Ooh, hello. I think we set this up. So we're watching get object ID, and when the get object ID changes, and it's actually got data in it, we want to actually do something. And we've reached our first ad break. So for those on YouTube, we run ads on Twitch so people don't get ads when they join. Don't worry, you don't get ads whatsoever. In the meantime, I actually just pause the stream. So yeah, and you get to see Socks too. There she is. So yeah. Hopefully everyone's going well tonight. It is a Friday, so yeah, got a lot done, which is nice. Alright, so and there you go, Rubik's Cube solved. Let's see, we're about 30 seconds with the ads. So yeah, and then we'll jump straight into it. We'll create the backend ticket and all that kind of stuff. I've also got to think how I want it to work. So yeah. Alright, and 5 seconds. I won't be able to do this cube in that time, but you know. Anyway, welcome back everyone. All right, so getting back with this. So we've got the code. We want to get some code from the back end, and some of the code that we want is actually, let's do this. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna use the VueJS sort of stuff. Oh, I hate when that happens. Store wasn't in there, so this would be part of the GDPR section. Hang on, it's actually part of the view components. GDPR, wizard, config, data verification. If we get rid of this to be like this, you'll see here, sorry, I'm just cheating at the moment. All right, so see here, we've got user action required. We're gonna have a list of user action required in here with the ability for the user to actually tick multiple. I will have to figure out how we do that again in VueJS. I'm pretty sure it's something very, very simple. So yeah, we just got to do that. And then the other thing we've got to do is, I'm just solving this cube very, very quickly, is the data to be removed. So this is just telling the user, hey, this data is getting removed. So we'll send that to items, user action required, and data to be removed. So going in here, let's figure out a URL that we want to hit. So first things first, get form data or set up form data. Data to send equals new form data. Data to send dot set, and what we're setting is we're setting the object type, and that will be, ooh, we don't have it here, but that's not a problem. We just get it, GDPR object type, GDPR object type, easy done, not a problem. GDPR object type, data to send dot set object ID, this dot GDPR object ID, easy done. Yeah. Then we've got this $axios dot post. We've got the URL, which will be this dot root URL. And then having a look at this other URLs and stuff in here, we've got GDPR wizard. Now, in that sort of case, we've got the search data. I'm going to say, oh, sorry. I'm tossing up whether or not to get data or another terminology. And yeah, sorry, I'm just giving me a moment whilst I think. It's either get data to process. Actually, just get data. Get data will be fine. And then we've got data to send that we're sending back. Easy done. And then we'll have a, that will be a then, that will be a response. That will be in like this, and then we add some code into here. And if we've got an error, this will be store.dispatch. We're doing a new toast, and what will actually dispatch? What will dispatch is header will be error fetching data, message, sorry, could not fetch the data we require, error, extra classes, background warning, and then delay, that's going to be a 0, and that should be perfectly fine. Actually, we want a unique sort of thing in here too. Tell user we are fetching data. So this $store.dispatch. We're just putting in a new toast up here again. Easy done. This will be header. Fetching data. Message. Please wait. Fetching data. That will be extra classes is background warning, not warning. And that one should, yeah, actually warning. The bottom one should be danger. And then delay is going to be 0, and then unique type is going to be, oh, this is GDPR wizard. And then unique type is going to be GDPR wizard. Alright, sweet. So, this should all handle this at the moment. At the moment, we don't do anything with the processor. The data will actually do that once we actually find out what the shape will be like. We're most likely going to have to create a couple more components to actually render those out. Yeah, not a problem. Alright, so this should be it. So, model we shouldn't need famous last words. The wizard view we'll need the URLs. So I'm going to open up NearBeach URLs. We're going to plop that over there, and we've got the search data. So we've got our path. This will be GDPR wizard / get data. GDPR wizard.views GDPR get data. This will be name equals GDPR get data. All right, like so. Easy done. We don't have that in there at the moment. It's going to cause a problem, but hey, we'll just go out here and do this. So let's search data. What we want is we want to grab those two. Oops. And then we want to GDPR get data. This will be a simple request, easy done. I'm gonna zoom like that. I'm gonna minimize that. So form will equal, ooh, we don't actually have the form at the moment. So we've got to create the form. Easy done. So jumping into the forms, what we want to do is, it's going to be similar to this. This is the object type form. This will be the GDPR data request form. So this will be class GDPR data request form. And it's actually going to extend the GDPR object type form. Now, I think this will have a problem because this is actually before this. And we have to actually have it after. And one reason why I'm doing that is so I can actually inherit this value right here. And that's really it. Otherwise, usually everything will be in alphabetical order. So it's inherited that, and then what we need is, we actually need, dependent on the object itself, yeah, all right, because we'll send back the ID. So I'm just having a quick think out aloud. Now, usually what actually happens is when the user, sucks. When the user says something back, we'll have to double check it. All right, cool. So when we usually have a Django form or something like that, and we send back an ID, it actually matches us up to an object automatically. We're actually not doing that here. Just because we don't have that information here. So in reality, we could do all of that in the form and get it all sorted there. But in this sort of case, I am just going to have GDPR object ID equals forms.integer field. Required equals true. And that's it. Easy done. So, got that. I'm happy with that. So we're going to go back into the GDPR wizard. We're going to need to import this particular field up here, the form. So we're going to go up here and we're going to go GDPR data request. We're going to scroll all the way back down and we're going to go GDPR data request form. We're going to go request.post. And then from here, if not form.isValid, we're going to return HTTP bad request form.errors. Easy done. Everyone's happy when that actually happens. So now that I got that done, we need to start getting the data. So we do have an object up here. Where we've got an object and we filter all of that. I mean, that's for the GDPR search. So what I'm going to do, GDPR data equals, once again, we're going to have customer, we're just going to have customer.objects. If we have organization, we're going to have organization.objects, and then user, it's just user objects. All right. All right, it's a simple sort of data array. There's a reason why we do it. So fetch the base data we are going to process. Oh, there. All right. There's actually a couple of ways we can do this. No socks. You can't keep going back and forth. I know. All right. So, dependent on what we're actually looking at depends on how we're going to process the data. So, for example, with the customers, we're getting any customers and then any reference to that particular customer and so forth like that. For the organization data, we're essentially all objects and stuff like that that are connected to that organization. That's including projects and so forth like that. So that's a different process. And then the user data, that's a different process altogether. So what we could potentially do is, oh, I don't have my bloody cord away. Oh no, that is in here. Sorry, I usually draw these things out, but all right. All right, so let's say we've got a point. Let's say that's that function that we've got in. We can then start branching out into separate functions, and I think that's probably going to be the cleanest way we can do it. And then from there we fetch the data, so this would be the fetch layer, and then we just consolidate the data back into the one spot and just return. And I think that's going to be the easiest sort of path for this. So, going back over here, we don't need this. And you might be wondering, why don't I need that? It's like, well, because I'm going to be writing this in an if-else statement anyway. We can't use switch statements at the moment because we're still supporting 3.9, Python 3.9. So, yeah. In here, what we want to do is we want to say dependent on the GDPR type depends where we fetch the data. So I am going to go, what did we call it? GDPR object type. GDPR object type equals form.cleanData. GDPR object type. We're also going to do that. GDPR object ID equals form.cleanData. GDPR object. All right, I'm getting both of them out because we'll need both of them. So if GDPR object type equals, we're not saying project, sorry, customer, we're going to add code and deal with it. Else, if GDPR object type equals organization, we're going to add code. Elif GDPR object type equals user. We're just going to add code. Now, I'm not the fan of doing something like this. I prefer switch statements, but once again, we're still supporting 3.9 till the end of this year, or till October. So we've got cases like this. It might be a case that if we're still in the development of 032 by October, we might go through and wipe all of these and then state we're no longer supporting this for this release and stuff like that. That's it. So yeah. Now, and Max Poo, how are you? Thank you very much for the follow. Greatly appreciated. Welcome, welcome. Now, if it doesn't match any of those, we've got to return HTTP this, and we just go GDPR object type does not exist. It's done. So we've just got an error. I'm just going to do return HTTP response here, just for that at the moment, because we want to see if everything is connected up. Now, in the naming of this stuff, we are going to do that. So def get customer data. All right, so we've got get customer data, GDPR object type, and no, we won't need the GD. We just need the ID, and then we're just returning internal function. Get organization data, GDPR object ID. And we're just going to return internal function. Get user data, GDPR object ID, and then we're just returning. Okay, cool. We're just going to add in those two spaces. So those there. Now we can actually return both bits of data in here without a problem. I'm just trying to think what would be a good sort of solution. We can return just an object. Yeah, I'm gonna say let's return just an object. And Happy Yasha, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. I'm just thinking how I want to set all of this up. So, oops. Considering we can actually send back both bits of data separate and then create the object, but we could just create the object. So I'm just going to say results equals get customer data, and then we want GDPR object ID. And we kind of want to do that. So results equals get organization, and then GDPR object ID, and then results equals get user data, GDPR object ID. You're doing great. Oh, that's great to hear. It's a beanie. It is actually rather cold here today. I don't think my thermometer is working very, very well. Let's go to Google. Let's go to Melbourne weather. So it's actually cold. 13 degrees Celsius or 56 Fahrenheit. So, yeah. It's amazing knowing that someone else on the planet goes through it. Yep. Well, I'm in Melbourne, so yeah, you know. All right, so we've got all of that data. And then I just want to make sure that we can process the results. All right, cool. So we can actually get to that. Now, what is that saying? All right, that's fine. We'll fix this up. And then down here, what we want to do is we want to convert the results to JSON and send back to user. So we do this elsewhere. That's perfectly fine. We'll quickly just get this all data all set up and so forth like that before we hit down here. Nocturnal, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. We are doing the GDPR thing. So yeah, slowly coming along. Yeah, I can't complain. Today was a long day, but at least I got stuff done. So yeah, it just feels like it's all foundation stuff, you know, where you set up something and it's all getting stuff all sorted at the foundation level, so it doesn't feel like you're doing anything. It's kind of like at that level. And then the next level is setting up all the content blocks, which is all the different, you know, at least that will feel like I'm doing something because I can tick stuff off. And then, yeah, once that's done, it's more pages and stuff like that. So, yeah, slowly getting there. All right, so what did I want to do? I was thinking about the customer. So, if we're doing a customer, what we've got is we want to get the customer. So hang on, just wait. 2 bits of data that we're going to be talking about. We're talking about user action required and data to be removed. So user action required and data to be removed. So I'm just putting these in here. So whoever reads this can be like, oh, okay, cool. This is what is actually happening. User required action. Look at all objects associated with the customer's organization. Search for I'm just going to go for and leave it like that. Partial name, email, that's pretty much it. So if we have a look at customers, we've really just got the name. So we've got to go through and flag any of those. We'll see if there's any of those in there. So instead of partial name, I'm going to go first name, last name. Inside the title and description of any object. So, yeah. Associated. Look for all objects associated within objects. Search for blah blah blah. These will be presented to the front end user as potential changes. So yeah, the front end person, the person at the and hello, Surak. Welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. I am terribly sorry. I just saw your comment on YouTube. So yeah, welcome. Where was I? These will be presented to the front-end user as potential changes. Yeah, they'll have the ability to either manually change that or ignore it completely, because there could be a case that someone has a name which is rather common and it's not them being referenced. All right, data to be removed. Look at all objects that the customer has been assigned to. Now, yeah, that's pretty much that. It's pretty simple. So what we want to do is we want to get customer results equals customer.objects.get. Oh, hold on. Oh, and we've just reached an ad. All right, cool. Hopefully everyone's going well. Yeah. Okay. Quickly solving this cube. There we go. All right. We've also got Socks right here. She's like, yeah. She's been good today. So, yeah. How 30 seconds left for the ads. So, yeah. Actually, I better double check that. Oh yeah, the counter is coming down. There's been a couple of times it hasn't actually counted down correctly. I'm just like, what the hell's going on Twitch? So yeah, all right. 10 seconds. Okay, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're going back to the workstation. All right. So there is an issue where if a person has been able to, let's say, hijack what's been sent to the back end and stuff like that to see what actually happens, we want to actually double check to make sure that this customer does actually exist. So if they don't exist, we then want to go, nope. So one way to sort of do this, we're going to go over here. We're going to go source VM bin activate. And then what we got is Python 3 manage shell. All right, from NearBeach.models, import everything. And then let's go a equals customer.objects.get pk equals 3. So that's going to fail. So this is going to send back a 500 to the user. Now, in a way, we could be like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. It does stop the user from going forward and all that kind of stuff. But also, at another way, I kind of want to go, no, we should send a 400 response. So, custom results, what I mean by that is if I go a equals customer.objects.filter pk equals 3 or 4, and then we can do a little NA, we can find out if there is something in there. So I'm going to do that. And we're going to go customer ID equals GDPR object ID. Now, another thing we've got to realize is that we're making sure that the customer hasn't already been deleted from the system. If they've been deleted from the system, I mean, it doesn't hurt processing them. So I'm just having a quick think. So if we could potentially do this, where we could show the admin, hey, these have been soft deleted and these have been hard deleted. I kind of like that idea. I'm going to implement that. In reality, you shouldn't be showing deleted users and stuff like that, but I think in this sort of case, it sort of justifies it because we're writing a tool that there's nothing wrong with us. You can write the same tool to actually access, you can write the same sort of thing I'm building as SQL queries, and you'll see all the data. So, going with this, we're going to keep that, but we're going to go if length of customer results equals 0, return HTTP. Oh yeah, arrays. Can we actually do arrays? Django arrays. Arrays 400. All right. We're just going to return none. And there's a reason why we're going to return none. We'll do a double check down here. Check to see if result is none. If so, there has been an error. So if results is none, return HTTP bad requests, GDPR object type and object ID do not exist. All right, cool. And there we go. That's just telling the user, hey, you've kind of mucked up there. Okay, going with this now, we're going to jump back over into, sorry, I've just scrambled my head around a little bit. With the search, we're going to actually add a little bit more extra data. So if we go into customers and go to next, we actually want a soft delete field in here. Hello, using ling is bad practice. Use count. Also is object does not exist error or model does not exist. Ugh, W3 schools, get out of here. All right, so you can use a list count, but don't know if you can with an object queries list. All right, one way to find out. A.length, or count, you're saying, does not exist. All right, so if you're going to customer.objects.filter, let's just filter, dot, is that lower C or upper C? Okay, you can do that. Why is ling a bad practice? Oh, just someone on YouTube saying ling's a bad practice. Nocturnal. Okay, so we want to add extra stuff into there. So we're going to go, remember where we find that. That's up here. Organization, organization name. All right, cool. We then want to give value. Is soft deleted. And that will be if is deleted. Like so. Would depend if you want the number of the value and then see how many. Yeah, that's what I've just been doing. Okay, I'm just going to quickly test this. All right, that comes up with a 0 or a... I think in that sort of case, they'll be fine with the 0. If you want the number, use count. Yeah, I just want the number. All right, cool. I can use count. All right, going in here to do. So we've got this. Done. That will just return none. I don't think I can raise. Oh wait, I can raise. I know I use it elsewhere. We've got permission denied. I've already forgotten what it's. Core exceptions. Not permission denied. Can't return the value from SQL, so it doesn't create the objects in Python. Ah, okay, yep. Yes, length is bad practice because Python is trying to count the objects. Django using count in SQL selected it. So this way is faster when you have to deal with a lot of objects. All right, okay, cool. Good point. Thank you very much, GJCS91. All right, what Django core exceptions? $400. All right, I'm just going to see if there's any documentation on this very, very quickly. If you want to use those objects, it would be better to use length, as otherwise you would have to make another query. Okay, yes, that's also a good point. Because I will be getting the count, and then I'll be getting the first one. I could just use the short. I tell you what, I'll use the Django shortcuts. Get object to 404. Shortcut import get object to 404. And then I've just got to remember how I did this. This is model. All right, cool. It's been a while since I've done this. So we'll need customer results equals get object 404, and then we'll just pass through customer and PK equals GDPR object ID. And then I don't need any of that. All right. If you want to adjust the first run query, then again. No, these are simple. These are very, very simple. I've got an ID, I just want that one row from that one table. So yeah, this is getting the customer results, and then from there, now, the thing is, we're also going to show the user soft deleted stuff. We have to document that, being like, please note, soft deleted stuff will pop up in this, just because we're removing it from the whole entire system. Unless you got, can't you just, no, I can't just get a get, because you will end up with something like this. It'll just have an issue. So yeah, that's why. And I don't want to send back a 500, I want to send back like a proper sort of code. A 404 will work in this sort of case. It throws up an error. Yeah. But this should work. So we've got the customer result. And then for the objects that the customer has been assigned to, this would be pretty easy to do. So I'm just thinking how I want to structure this all out at the moment. So we've got the customer results. What we want to do is we want to see all of the organizations. So what we got is also, we've got the object assignment results equals the object assignment, which we don't have, so this is 85. object assignment dot objects dot filter. We're not filtering for is deleted in this sort of case. We're just filtering for the customer ID. So the customer ID equals it will literally be the object, GDPR object ID, which will be fine. So that will get every single sort of connection, even deleted ones, that the user has been connected to. And now that I'm thinking that out aloud, we might need to actually do that at the organization level, not the customer level. So even then, we'll need two. We'll need two in here. Results. All good, Nocturnal. All good. That's why we test things. So yeah, don't worry. So we'll have the customer assignment results up here. And what we've got is all of the result. These will all get deleted. These particular ones. So not a problem. I'm going to flag that all to be deleted. And if we have object assignment results equals object assignment dot objects dot filter, we've got the organization ID equals the customer results dot organization ID. So this should contain all the objects that the customer is related to, and then from this object assignment results we can actually filter further down. So yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to do. Famous last words. So yes, I've just got to think. All right. Sorry, give me a couple of seconds. How I want to sort of sort this data out. Because at the end of the day, the object assignment table is just a bunch of primary keys and so forth like that. And we actually want specific data. So that way on the front end, we can be like, all right, cool. Here's what this data looks like. Without structuring it anymore. And yes, might be one of those cases we can create a couple of functions to do that for us quickly. Yeah. So what I mean is on the front end, I've broken something. Or maybe not. On the front end, notice how we've got request for change, requirement. So I want to kind of break everything up into these sort of groups. So when I render it out, a person could be like, all right, cool. This is for this particular group, this is for that particular group, and so forth like that, and go through it. Yeah, it's going to be a lot easier to do that. And if I can get it to do that in the back end, it's going to make my life a lot easier too. So yeah, I've just got to think about this carefully and how I want to do it instead of just jumping straight into it. So, I've got to think about every single object the user could be connected to. And then we've got to also start remove, yeah, all right. And okay. And I'm also thinking about other things too. So we've also got sprints, but the sprints themselves don't have any description or anything like that. It's just, sprints are essentially a connection of objects at a given time. All right, so going in here. I am just trying to think of all the objects which we could look through. And I've also got to think with the organizations. That's going to be a lot easier because the organizations is just going to look at everything with the organization and delete everything. That one's a lot simpler to do. The users is also going to be simple to do. So yeah. Okay. You just saw something on this project that you're working on. I would like to give you some tips. May I? Yes, yeah, you can. Please note when we're going to 032 there, I'm going to restructure the database. So if there's any tips about the database, it'll probably be done sooner rather than later. All right, so what objects I want to do, request for change. Yeah, all right, cool. So in this little case, sorry, I'm just going to go on. What we're actually going to do is we're going to create a loop through objects. Object list. This is going to have, oh, sorry, it's got an equal sign in there. So the object list, we're going to open up BStudio, which I don't know why I don't actually have it pinned. There it goes, pinned. All right, we're going to open up this. We're going to go. This is object assignment. I was hoping it would write a quick and easy sort of select statement so I could do that. So notice that you set ID as big, auto, field, and primary key by default. Django is giving the ID as primary field. I don't know why you set it. Ah, okay, cool. Now, the one problem with the database is it's 8 years old. 8 years ago, I didn't know very much about how to write the models in Django, and I have only touched it a few times. So I think there was a recommendation to move everything to big auto. When I was looking in here, automatic primary keys, fields, I've just done something like that. One other is that you will use you are using in all your models date created, date modified. You could use common fields and set that as a yes I should. So yes, yeah, that is actually a good idea. That definitely should happen. The good news is we do want to clean off our database. So if you look at the projects and look at tasks, you'll notice in project, if memory serves me correctly, you got project title, project description, and then task, you got task short description, task long description. I kind of want to make those all uniform and so forth like that. So that way you'll have, for example, project task, project title, and then task title, and then project description, and then task description. So yeah, there's a lot of work happening on the database when we move to 0.32. I don't know if you can actually see behind me. We actually have a whiteboard with it written on. Give me 2 seconds. It says fixes to database. So yes, these are definitely good ideas to do. Alright. We do actually have a Discord. I wonder if this code does work on YouTube, where you're more than welcome to put all of these sort of improvements in there. Sorry, I'm umming because it didn't actually pop up with my Discord. Give me a couple of seconds. Oh, there we go. Nightbot just took a little while. So yeah, feel free to join the Discord and put stuff in there. Recommendations and so forth like that. It is greatly appreciated. So yeah. Now, with this, I'm just going to open this up. I'm just going to temporarily put that there. I'm just looking at all the fields very, very quickly. So, this is a huge table. Change user ID. We've got customer ID. We've got group ID. Yeah, that's fine. Kanban board ID. Oops. We'll do something like this at the moment. We've got Kanban card. Organization ID will be fine. It's project ID that with a project we've got to look up. And I'll put these in alphabetical order soon. Request for change requirement. Requirement item. Oh, how could I forget requirement item? Alright. Task ID. So actually trying to look cute, but you are distracting me. Okay, I think it's like, oh, sorry. Ooh. Link relationship. Now that's part of the change task and change task. Oh yes, that would potentially have. And cheers, Matthew. Thank you very much. So yeah, it's been 8 years. So. Those are all the objects that the user could potentially be in the title or description and so forth like that. All right. I'm just putting this object list here and I'm just wondering if I can do this in a smart way. I know I will be able to do this in a smart way when we actually implement the database changes and make all the fields generic. However, I can't do that at the moment. So, yes. Alright, you okay there, Socks? You're like... There you go. You're getting... Chit runs. Alright, ooh. Alright, so... Let's have a look at the data. I'm just going to jump into the admin. Terribly sorry about the flashbang. So, we're going to jump over here and we're going to go Kanban board. So with the Kanban board... We actually don't have anything that the user needs to worry about. So we're going to delete that. And we've just hit ads on Twitch. So for those on YouTube, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch so people don't get pre-rolled ads whenever they join. Don't worry, you don't get ads. Don't worry about that at all. We just tend to pause so people don't miss out. They will miss out on Socks trying to be really, really cute though. Look at this. She's going into full-on licking mode and purring mode. So yeah, she's loving this right at the moment. So yeah. All right. I'm going to scratch Socks' belly. Okay. I'm also trying to solve the Rubik's Cube one-handed. I can't really do that very well, so I'm just gonna... There we go. All right, where are we with the ads? Oh, 1 second. All right, cool. Back to it. So, I don't know what that noise was. It Kanban card. If we go into the Kanban card, we do actually have the text and we do have a description. So we do have a couple of fields we could remove. Now I could do this in a for loop. That would work really, really well. So if I go into here and I open this up and I go object and I just go Kanban card.object, leave it like that, and then I go fields, I can then open up an array. And I can go and actually type in the fields themselves. So Kanban card text. So yeah, this is, and then Kanban card description. So yeah, as discussed before with 032, we're gonna make these names generic as possible. So the idea being now, I won't potentially need this particular, in this sort of case I will actually, because of the change tasks and the request for change, but in the most sort of cases we could get rid of data very, very easily. Alright, so I'm trying to do this in a smart way, and yet I'm distracting myself with the cube constantly. So this is 94. We're going to have to actually start doing this up here. Alright, so that will then become Kanban card. And that will be nearly 100 now. So we've got the two fields that we're wanting to remove. And I think, sorry, I just, all right, so we've got the fields. I'm just going to test it with this at the moment. There we go. So we're just going to test it with this at the moment. So the idea being is we're going to have a loop. It loops through this, deals with this, and then it gets the fields, loops through that to get the results we want, and then it keys it against. All right, cool. So what we want to do is we want to set up return our, we want to set up results equals I'm fat fingering like there's no tomorrow. Like I said before, we're gonna have 2 sets of results. I've got to actually change this. Give me 2 seconds. We'll have user action required and data to be removed. So we'll have user action required. Actually, that should be in. And we'll actually have this. I'm just trying to think. We'll have it as a query set in a particular format, won't we? Ooh. Probably not the best to actually call this here. So what I'm going to do, empty query set. I know we've done this before. Django empty query set. But it won't be a particular object or anything like that. Yeah, damn it. All right. Okay. What do I need to do? I don't know. So, first off, let's just declare the value. User action required. User action required equals. We're just going to do that. A blank array. I'm not sure this will work. So we're just going to power forward and hope for the best. So for each. So sorry. For object in object list. Been doing a little too much .NET today. All right, going with this. Object into that. What we want to do is we're going to go object. Oh, we need another for loop. Yeah, for object field in object.fields. Actually, that will be like that, won't it? Because we'll get this object and then we want that. All right, cool. And then from here, what we want is object.object.filter, which should give us, actually that won't. I've mucked this up. Okay, no problem. What we do, we'll go over here. We'll go A equals. We're opening up that. We're going to say object, and then we're going to go customer.objects. All right, cool. And then if we go A, we've got that. If we go A object, we've got that, and then we should go filter. And yeah, all right, cool. That should work. So we're looping through this up here. We've got the object going through object.filter. Now remember, we're not getting rid of anything with the ID in there. What we're doing is we're checking for the customer's first name and last name and email. So on the particular field, so this is where we do something like this, and then we pass through object field I'm going to need this as an F value. Object field under contains. This is also, so if we go customer.objects, I'm just gonna objects.filter in here. Let's go customer first name contains. Sorry, I did customer first name. If the customer first name is like that and then contains. Alright, I'm just double checking one thing. Django contains with case and sensitivity. Alright, I contains pepperoni, filter with the I contains check. So I contains case insensitive container element. All right, cool. I contains. So we go up here, it'll be I contains, and then socks will appear. Cool. And then I can do something like that. Whereas before, if I did something like that, oh, it still popped up. But we'll just do I contains just in case. So I contains, and then what we want to do is we need the customer results. Now, considering we're doing this, we're flat backing this out. Email, customer results, customer email. All right, cool. We also need an OR statement in here. So where are we? We're at 118. So going up here, I think we're going to do that. So we need a queue. Like that. We'll do an OR statement in a second. Oops. And then what we need to do here is we need first name. Why am I doing the it's alright. Q's gotta be in here. And then it's pretty much like this. Okay, so, and then we gotta bump this back down here. So this will definitely get a result out for that object and those fields within those objects. And we just got to add it to the array. But I also want the values too. Alright. We've also got to annotate. And the reason why we've got to annotate is we've got to make sure that our fields are all consistent when we actually send it to the front end. So the front end knows, oh, okay, this is the title, this is the description, and this is the ID. So what we're going to do is we're going to have ID equals F, and then the customer, sorry, not the customer, Kanban card ID. And hey, how are you? Ushish man. Sorry, I'm terrible with names. How are you going, Ushish man? I'm going good. I can't complain. We're getting this all sorted. So yeah, I'm gonna have a title, and that's gonna be Kanban card text. We going. Let's go down here. Going with this, I mean, we could potentially include a description. I'm going to say no with the description. We're just going to keep it simple. ID, what it is, and then all right, object will equal the value, and this will be the Kanban card. That's going to be easy to do. Actually, no. It will actually be the value of the object.object. No, not object dot. What do I want to call this? This won't be part of fields. This will be part of object, and then we want type. Easy done. You're good too. I see that you're making a project management tool. Are you right? Yes, I am. This is NearBeach. So yeah. And Adrienne Lerds, how are you going? Pair programming with Socks today. Yeah, she's been good. She's not sitting on the keyboard or anything like that. So that's nice. I'm going to consider that she's been doing quite a lot of work. Let me give you a quick shout out. And I've got to copy your name correctly. Otherwise, I give someone random a shout out. And you know what I did? I didn't copy it. I used the Mac bindings. Go. All right. Adrian also does quite a lot of programming. Does a lot of programming on streams and stuff like that. So yeah, if you like me, why don't you give him a follow too? I'm making a Trello integration in Discord right now. I saw people want this kind of integrations. What do you think? Yeah, I can see it actually being useful. So I'm assuming if someone changes something and you're watching it, it will contact you and be like, hey, this person moved this to completed, is that correct? And you'll be like, God damn it, it's not completed. All right, so we're annotating the value on. Oh, wait, we will already have the types. So we won't need to actually key that in because I won't be filtering that. I'll actually be putting this through. All right. Sorry, I've just got to think how I want to set this up. Define blank query set. Django define blank query set with values, with fields. Not what I want. Not what I want. All right. Having a think what this will be. This will be results. Actually, this will be an empty object. And then this will be fine. Yeah, alright, cool. User action required. And then we're going to do something like that. And then I'm going to put in object. Well, we need, yeah. Because that will just give us that. We still need the type. Oi, thank you very much. That was not the buttons I pressed. Alright, so user action required, that will be put into there. That will be of the type of Kanban card. That will go into there. I just want to see one thing quickly. So I'm just going to clear all that. I'm just going to go A. Cool. A 0 doesn't work. A object. A object dot key. No, all right, no, not a problem. I was just seeing if I could do something trickery and stuff like that. Oh, actually, for B in A. B. I need to make it enumerable. Yeah, all right, no, that doesn't work. We're going to keep it to that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go type equals object type. We're flat packing it here just to make this readable. Okay, and then get the type we want, and then store the data against. Type. Ooh, hold on a minute. All right, hang on. Empty query set. Up here. And this is where I've been using add query set to array. This is where I've been using .NET all day, and I've absolutely forgotten how to do this. So first thing uses set list. Okay, yep, I can do that. It's a little I out of subject, but I'll be happy if you answer. What do you think about modern web development? Sometimes I feel why I didn't learn .NET, Laravel kind of technologies because of the React bullshit. Feels overwhelming and stupid. More when I see that no one knows how to do X because React developers build it like and you client. What do I think about modern web development? It's a good question. It's always evolving and stuff like that. So usually I'm going to use React because React does actually change quite frequently. So what will happen is a new version will come out. I'm going to go version 0. Some time sort of passes, not a lot of time, and people will start having problems being like, I hate this. Or there's an issue here. And then once some more time has passed, a new release comes out. So, oops. Which fixes these. So these no longer become relevant. And stuff like that. But then you have a different issue. Different problems. and so forth like that. React is constantly building upon itself, which is great. Yes, I understand that if you, for example, learnt React a year ago and try and use it nowadays, there is a lot of changes and stuff like that. And yeah, it is overwhelming. It also feels like when you're learning it that you can never fully grasp it. However, that being said, if you stop and look at, oh, okay, cool. The reason why they're doing this is because they come across other problems that they're trying to solve. It's not necessarily that these problems weren't over here. They could have existed over there easily. It's just that we didn't have the tool set built up in a way that we get to see those issues. So, for example, if you're sort of building a game or something like that without SDL, it will be very hard to sort of create render stuff to your computer screen and stuff like that. Along comes SDL. You have a different issue now because SDL has let you bypass that stage, and now you're having other sort of issues that would have existed there if you had gotten and developed your own SDL and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, I would still jump into React. I know a little bit of React. I run a couple of WordPress sites, and I've built my own WordPress plugins. They're very, very simple, nothing to write home about and stuff like that. And I know if I were to rewrite them now, there's going to be a couple of changes, but that's fine. You just learn what has changed, what is now done differently, and keep moving forward. From what I've heard, old React will still compile and run perfectly fine. So yeah. And I wouldn't say build it like shit. A lot of the times people have to build stuff to just get it to run. They do MVP, so minimal viable product. Because at the end of the day, they don't have enough time to flesh it out. So, yeah. I haven't used HTMX yet. HTMX. One day. I've got to start using other technology and stuff like that too. So, yeah. Yeah, we want this all flattened out and stuff like that. I need to actually go .values in here and do ID and title. I should actually change this to object ID and object title. And the reason why I'm doing it like that is so it doesn't conflict with anything. And that's the only reason why. Yeah, it's a weird point, I will say. I actually do like where the web is going. It feels like it is evolving. It's really easy for a lot of people to jump in and sort of build something. That being said, I'm just talking about a simple HTML page. And then from there, actually learning how to get the React components working, or VueJS or anything like that working, is difficult to learn at the start, but worth it. And you do get better. There is a lot to also learn too, but that's with most languages. I think alright, cool. Got that done. So we've got that. Now we've got an empty set. Now this is telling me to use sorry, value list. Anyway, we are in ad times. For those on YouTube, we run ads every half an hour. Don't worry, you don't get any ads. We are... I forgot my point. Sorry. We are in this sort of mode, so no one misses out on anything. So yeah, that's why. Value lists. If you recreate a value list using the query attribute, it will convert to QS. Alright, cool. Reload to the query equals the dump to the. Okay. Alright. Your view on React is the thing. It's trying to help with how to react to state is good. The problem then becomes your state management, which becomes hard because of how many layers, which cascade down, state down to other layers. Yeah. Yeah. State management in itself is an art form. So yeah, I can't say anything because NearBeach's state management is large. It's a good way to put it. There's a lot of items up in there. So yeah, and we tend to fall on state management depending how far down we need an object to go. If it's going down just one level, we'll do it through props and stuff like that. Easily done. However, if there is a multitude of levels that need to go up and down, we're all like, nah, state management. Which is why we've built in state management for the GDPR stuff. So, what I want to do is convert a Django query set into an array. No, we need the... all right. An array add query. Sorry. Django combine query sets. Model. All right. Cool. Another query set. They do not have to be from the same model. All right. The Python union operator can be used to combine the query sets. All right. Cool. So what we need to do is empty query set equals empty query set pipe delimiter that into there. Is this music from some old point and click game? No. It's from Heartbound. So if you know Pirate Software, he's creating a game at the moment called Heartbound. Yeah, pretty much. There's the music from there. All right, so. All right. Okay, so hopefully that works. We don't know. We'll find out. But once that goes through all the fields, we then want to go user action required. This is where we also want to do the type equals object type. Easy done. We then want to go in here type equals the empty query set. Now, I don't know if this will work. So I'm going to put a breakpoint here. And we're going to see if it works. I am going to go over here. I'm going to go a new card. Actually, no. This won't work because this particular Kanban board is not actually assigned to a customer. So there's no way to actually... Yeah, alright, I've done a mistake, but that's not a problem. We just will ignore the Kanban card. So the Kanban card doesn't have any users. Sorry, it doesn't have any customers associated with it. So that's why I'm getting rid of it. There's no feasible way of being like, yeah, this is the user. So, yeah. Alright, so object that will be project.objects. And then we've got the fields, and we'll have a quick look at the fields in a second. And then we've got the type is going to be project. So I'm going to actually put it in capital cases. Actually, no. It's going to be like that. Alright, going up here. Element OP, so project. Easy done. Going down here, so we're happy with that. We're going to test this out. And I don't know if it'll work. So yeah, I'm going to hit refresh. I'm going to move this to the right. Notice that it's not running. I'm going to hit read this. And got a bug tonight where we're only seeing a couple of lines of the console, which is really annoying. Gonna refresh this. So we're looking at customers, we're looking at Socks Fluffy Butt. Now that should have sent some data off, and it didn't. Alright, so our front end isn't connected up to our back end. Not a problem. Let's do that right now. So, with the GD object ID, I am... we've actually got an error. So, we are going to kill that. We're going to go console. We're going to look at this, and we're going to go this.axios is undefined. No. Alright, easy done. So... it's not $axios, it's just this.axios. That is my bad. We just gotta wait a little while. Easy done, not a problem. I'm gonna hit refresh. We're gonna go customer. We're gonna go next. We're gonna also go Socks Fluffy Butt. Ooh, sorry, could not fetch the data. 400. All right, if we go with we got a 400. Bad request. Dump. We're going to go to the response, GDPR object type and GDPR object ID. All right, we're going to go over here. We are actually going to key those in here. You've got to be consistent. So we're being consistent here. We're waiting just a little while. We're just going to hit refresh. All right, not a problem. That's probably the same problem. Oh no. A string indicates integers must not be string. All right. And Steffi, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Sock says hello. If the camera... All right, I'm having camera difficulties. All right, so what does this mean? It means that I am sending back A1. String indices must be integer, not string. All right, let's actually, just in case I've done something really wrong, I am going to go back to the GPR wizard. We're scrolling up and down, and we're going to put a little breakpoint right there. We're going to see if we actually reach it. I'm going to right-hand click, and I'm going to go resend. Ooh. Looks like we do reach it. We pass the form. We do get the ID. And that does say it's an int. Okay. He sucks. Alright. Just annoying socks. So, we go into here, and that's where the problem is. Okay, cool. Not a problem. We'll just destroy our breakpoint. We're going to go up in here, and we're going to put a little breakpoint there. And we're going to find out what's gone wrong. So, we're going to resend. We've just got another thing in your bed. So, we're here. We're going to move forward. So, it finds socks, fluffy butt, easy done. It finds the... finds nothing for that. Which I don't believe. That should be quite full. So I'm just going to go over into object assignment. .objects.filter. And I'm just going to go organization ID equals 1. I've got that wrong. ID, I put is. Oh, alright. I'm just trying to remember now. Oh, we do it on the. We do it on every object. All right, no, I screwed up. All right, not a problem. Yeah, not a problem. Okay. So, I've done a big boo-boo. This is going to return nothing anyway. And I'm trying to remember if we actually utilize that field at all. So I'm just going to do that. The reason being is down here, now I've got to do .filter and then organization ID equals customer results.organization ID. So we've got to have the filter in there. These will then work as intended. Sorry, I just got an itchy eye. Yeah, these will work as intended. Got the first name and last name. All right, cool. Let's try that again. Let's just go resend. We've hit this. We're fine with this. We scoot forward. Yeah, we don't actually have any of the filtering in there anyway, so that would have been a problem. Where am I? So we've got all of that data, easy done. So we've got the project data. I'm going to put the breakpoint here. I'm going to remove the top one. I'm pretty sure we're fine with this running. So yeah, we've got this. Then we scoot. Alright, I think we found it. We're going to hit resend. So we just have the string project. Oh no, object. Okay. All right, I've done something wrong. Yes, I have. All right. There you go. We all do silly mistakes. I do them all the time. Okay, I'm gonna hit resend. All right, it's not liking stuff at the moment. Do I need to rebuild? Oh no, it's throwing up cancel. It's throwing up a problem. Alright, and then this will be an array of objects. Alright. Let's just hit refresh. Sorry, sometimes you gotta start and reset. No errors. All right, cool. Gonna hit refresh. Cool, we're done. Customer. We wanna go socks fluffy butt. We're fetching the data. Sweet. So we should be here. We should now, yep, there we go. So now we've got, okay, we don't need that structure. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to have it like that, and then what we want is we've got the type, and then we've got the object and the fields. Alright, cool. So I'm going to put the type at the top, and I'm just going to hit the stop and the restart. So yeah, this is why we do it with just one at the moment, because we go, alright, these are the problems I'm having, this is how I do to fix this, and so forth like that. We're just going to refresh. We're just going to go customer, next, socks fluffy butt. We've got this, so we're on this particular thing. We're going to go forward. We've got all of our fields, our objects, and our type. So we should have our type project. Cool. We've got an empty query set. We've got the objects in object field. Yep, that's fine. We alright, we failed something else because, yeah, that's fine. In this sort of case, that's understandable. We've got to that sort of stage. I need to include some data in here properly. So I want to go over to here. I want to open up projects. And I just want to click on any API project. We've got a project name and project description. So in here, the fields will be a simple project name and project description. Easy done. And we're just going to go back over here and we'll just refresh. All right, we go over here. Don't know how well, as I just say that, something bad actually happened. All right, cannot resolve that. All right, hold on. I don't say, all right, ooh. So we need to actually store all of this data in this data array up here. So what I want to do is I want to have object ID what do we call it? Object ID and object title. And we're going to store it as project ID and object title, and that's going to be project. That's going to be a project name. Okay, cool. And then in here, what we're going to do is we're going to have object ID equals object ID. This is just to flat pack everything. Object name. Object title equals object title. All right. That's just to flat pack everything, and then loop through the fields. All right. Gather the variables. All right. So we then want to object ID in here and object title. So yeah, the flat packing just makes it look a lot nicer. I know that in reality you're saving the variable, putting it in one place and only using it once. We're trying to go for readable code at the moment, getting this working. Later on, we might be like, all right, cool, we're going to save X amount of milliseconds on this, and that is required. Then we'll go back and do that. So I'm going to refresh. We are going to hit customer. We're going to go next. We are going to hit socks fluffy butt. We are going back over here. So we're just going to go all right. That all works, and then ooh, all right, we got a 500 again. Unsupported operation types for list and query set. Okay, I'm gonna need to Django query set with structure object ID object type. Actually, I'm going to do this the smart way. Okay, so we've got this. We actually have object in here already. Dot values, and then we'll have. Oh, we need to annotate and stuff like that. And Corpse Jack, welcome back. Hopefully you're going well. Welcome, welcome. All right, so we're just figuring out how to do an empty query set at the moment. Forms, multiple choice field. You're good, just drinking green tea? Nice, nice. Which reminds me, I gotta start drinking some of my Vietnamese tea. Alright, so Django empty query set. Now in this sort of case, they're going, you just do objects.none. And I feel like, you know what, let's just test that. Let's just go in here, let's go .none. Alright, we've got an empty query set. I haven't had any caffeine in like a month. This breaks the streak. Oh, fair enough. You're going to be. Hopefully, it isn't too much caffeinated. So yeah. Because you don't want to be like, oh, this is quite caffeinated. Ping off the walls and stuff like that. All right. So we've got this. I am going to just go like, I'm just undoing that, and I'm just going to hit play. And we got there. All right. So we actually have a query set of nothing, and that's perfectly fine. I'm going to create a result where we have something, so I'm just going to hit enter. Now we're going to get a 400 on this sort of case because we haven't programmed the rest of it. I'm going to go and create a new project. We're going to go socks fluffy but in here. These will definitely be flagged. We definitely want that, and then we do that, and then if I go back to previous, I do organization. I then do customer. Oh wait, I haven't done it where it removes that result. Have I? No, so I'm gonna have to refresh. There's a bug in there. Alright, cool. So we reached this and we do actually have socks coming through. Cool. I am going to hit play. I'm having it because usually I sleep 12 hours. Holy hell. Last night slept 7. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's almost half your sleep you didn't get. But I'm using caffeine to keep my... Yeah, fair enough. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, but holy hell, 12 hours. I get 6.5. I'm one of those people. Alright. So I'm quite happy with... Oh, sorry. Okay, lower. I'm quite happy with how we've structured that. So we just need to get rid of the Kanban card because there's no way we can be like, yeah, this person is actually part of this. It could be a giant fluke. What we need to do is now we got to set these up for the rest. So we've got the type and we've got request for change. Ooh, once again, not actually connected to an organization. So we can't safely say this is actually that particular customer. I just didn't like that I had to sleep 12 hours a night until the sleep wore off, so I think it's better to sleep 8 hours and just have 1 to 2 or even 3 cups of green tea. Yep, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, hopefully it works. So, yeah. We said no to request for change. We did say requirement yes, because when you go in and create a new requirement, it does actually have data we need. Sorry, that's meant to be type. Requirement. The object is going to be your requirement. To objects, filter, and organization. Oh, maybe not. Am I remembering requirements wrong? Yes, yeah, I live in Melbourne in Australia. So yeah, I noticed you stream 5 a.m. Yep. So usually that is between 6:30 to 10 p.m. My time. So yeah. And currently at the moment it's nearly 9 o'clock. It's 8:45. Now, I'm just double checking one thing. We've got requirements. Not requirement items, sorry, requirements. These, I do have an organization, thank you very much. So type requirement, we'll have an object, requirement.objects.filter. We'll need to actually key stuff in, 114, element OPQR. Requirement item. So we'll need to filter organization ID equals customer results dot organization ID. Easy done. Oh, and we've just hit ads. All right, hopefully everyone's going well tonight. We've got Socks here. You know, she's giving me the code review. making sure I don't screw up, but you know, she doesn't point out whenever I screw up. So yeah, she's all like, you know, you made a mistake. But no. Hopefully everyone's going well out there. For those on YouTube wondering what's happening at the moment, we run ads on Twitch every half an hour. Don't worry, you don't get ads, don't worry about it. We tend to do this so no one misses out on any content. So yeah, the ads are there just to stop pre-rolled ads happening. I get cents. So don't worry. Alright, so you get to see me also solve a Rubik's Cube, you get to see socks, we get to chat. Yeah, we'll figure everything out. And there's the cube. Alright, we've got 10 seconds left of the ads. And alright, we'll jump back into here. Welcome back, everyone. So yeah, you didn't miss out on anything if you're in ads. So object ID will be a requirement ID. Object type will be the object title will be the, this is where I have to look it up, requirement title. So in the future, what will actually happen is we'll name all these particular fields the same, so we can drop this particular field and we can actually easily figure it out using other fields. And then what we want is fields that we're actually searching through. So we'll have requirement title, requirement scope, and that's it. Easy done. And then we'll get rid of that one. And then all we need to do is open up a new one. So we're going to type, and we're going to go requirement item. We've got the object is going to be a requirement item. This one's going to be a little bit more complicated. Just bear with me. Filter. And then what we want to actually have is requirement ID in equals requirement.objects.filter. And this is where we go organization ID equals customer results.organization ID. And then we just go values and we go requirement ID. Now the reason why we've got to do all that sort of confusing stuff is because it is a child item. It belongs to the requirements, and thus the organization is stored at the parent, not at the child level. So now we've got that done, we go object ID, and that's going to be requirement item ID, and then we've got the object title, and that will be the requirement item scope. And then we've got the fields, which will be an array, and that will be requirement item title and requirement item scope. Easy done. Everyone's happy. So, got rid of that. Change task. So I'm just having a quick look at RFCs, because if we're doing requests for changes aren't usually put against an organization. The idea being is a request for change can actually have multiple different stakeholders and stuff like that. So we haven't actually done that. So we're just left with the task to do. So we've got the type is task, and what we have is we've got the object, and that's going to be task. We haven't keyed in the task, so this is 142. So we want to go to 17. We just want to go task, and then 143. So we want to go objects.filter, and then it's as simple as organization ID equals customer results.organization ID. Easy done. Then we got object ID. and that's going to be task ID, and then we've got the object title, which this is the most silliest one I had to do, task short description. I'm just double checking that. This is why we want to, I'm going to assume that's a yes. And then from there, we've got our fields, and we'll have the task short description. And task description. So yes, 9 years ago, actually 8 years ago, 8.5 years ago, yeah, I should have deleted. I decided to come up with these names, and in reality, I should have deleted all this when I decided to rewrite NearBeach. All right, cool, no problems. So we're just going to hit rerun. Task short description, task long description. That's all that we need to check into there. Just realizing too, we'll need to actually check out the notes. Yes. Okay. Just having a quick think. How will I actually do that? So the notes can be done. That's not going to be a problem. Oh, sorry. I'm just going to yawn a little bit. I'm going to have to tackle that in a minute. It might be one of those sort of cases that I have to do this as a separate bit of data, which is fine, can be done. And what I mean is, instead of calling it through this one particular loop, it will be done through a different process, which once again can be easily done. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Yes. Okay. So I'm just having a decent think. Alright, going through all of this, that should be pretty much done now. We can get rid of those 3 lines. Alright, cool. So, once we've got that, we've got the user action required, once that is done, we've got the user action required. We've got to return the user action required down here. So user action required. We also need to get and this is where we do it with all the objects and stuff like that. Oh, it's just with these. All right. Sorry, I'm just having a think how I want to actually do this. So we've got 2 loops that we've got to do. We can actually do it in 1 loop. I'm probably going to lean on doing it in 1 loop. Obvious reasons why. All right. Going up here, we've got the we can. I'm just thinking. Sorry. What I want to actually think about is like, what can I? So we've got user action required. And what was the other terminology we keep coming up with? Yeah, we're getting a 400 because of that. That's not a problem. Data to be deleted. That's it. We're going to do it like that. With the data to be deleted, I kind of want to do it in the same sort of formats and stuff like that. So yeah, it'll go through the same loop. We will hit like let's say the task. We do have the object ID. Okay, we can do this with the same structure that's up here. All right, so we don't need to go through the loop through the fields or anything like that. That's perfectly fine. So loop through the fields to get the user action required. All right, once it's done that, we set it up like that. That's perfectly fine. Empty query set, that's perfectly fine. Data to be deleted. Alright, process data to be deleted. So data to be deleted, and then we're going to keep through the type, and that's going to equal, and this is where we need this data here. So we're just going to yank that out. We're going to paste it up here. We're going to go object assignment results because it's just going to be easier for us. Equals object assignment results dot filter, and this is where we need the ID of that type. So this is the object ID. So we do something like this. We go object ID we do this. It needs to be an F string. So object ID is null is going to be false. All right. So we want everything that's there. All right. Yep. So that should filter everything that we've got there. That we're removing the cut for the customer ID. Okay. Cool. And then what we want to do is the values. Oh, we need annotate. And the values will be, once again, object ID and object type. Easy done. Oh, title, sorry. Easy done. So in the annotate, we want the object ID to equal the F. Where it gets confusing with the F string of this is where we go object ID under. Oh wait, no, that'll just be object ID. That's easy. It's the object title, which is going to be hard. So that will be the F, where it's the object ID under, and then it'll be the object title. And for those wondering what the hell's going on, we have a table that connects everything together called the object assignment table. It's a bunch of foreign keys. And what we're doing is we're going to be like, all right, cool. I want to grab the foreign key And can you connect it to the table and grab the foreign keys title? So that's what we've got to do here. And that just processes that and keys it into there. Now, we've got some data here, we've got some data there. We're going to go data to be deleted. That's also going to be data to be deleted. So we're all happy with that. I am going to hit a breakpoint there. We're going to hit refresh. We're going to test this out. Cannot resolve task description into field. Choices are bugs. Alright, that definitely broke at that level. I might have mucked this up. Alright, can't do task descriptions. Cannot resolve task description in field. Choices are task long description. Alright, cool. Silly naming convention I had like 8 years ago. I mean, if I were to redo this, I would keep it consistent. Alright, refresh, customer, and that's what the 032 will actually do. We'll actually get some consistency with this. So we're down here, we've got user action required. We're happy with those results. So if we open them up, we can see that project has something, requirement items, and tasks have nothing. That's perfectly fine. We'll test this out properly, and we've also got to do unit tests for this, which means I've got to add in more data into our fixtures and hope for the best. So yeah, idea being is we want this to work. Considering it's literally deleting data, we've got to test this thoroughly. All right. Sorry, I'm just stretching and all that kind of stuff. Data to be deleted. Should have a lot more. So these are all the users that are assigned. Sorry, this is all the stuff that's been assigned and all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah. Okay. Whoop. Oh, sorry, socks. I didn't mean to scare the bejeebers out of you. She's like, just get the bejeebers out of me. Alright. Sorry, I'm getting distracted with the cube again. Alright. So I'm actually happy with this. I'm just going to hit play. We know we're going to get an error. That's perfectly fine. But this part of the code is done. So I'm happy with this. We're going to go down here. So we get our results. We definitely hit the 200. So we definitely got a 200 then. All right, there's our results. We're happy. Now, I've just noticed there's a little bug here that's popping up and be like, hey. What we want to do is when it's done, we want to go this $store.dispatch new toast. We want to say the header is fetched data. We want the message to say data has been fetched. Please move to next tab to review. Please move to data verification tab. To review. All right. right, extra classes is going to be background success. And then the delay is, actually there's not going to be a delay, it's going to disappear anyway. The unique type is GDPR wizard. All right. Okay, cool. That pops up. That green will disappear in a minute. Now, we do need to fill out this data on here. So what we can actually do is in here, we can go this dot, what is it? Status equals loaded. Easy done. All right. And we'll need to add in code dealing with a response and stuff like that. So what will actually happen is data will come in, we'll have it in a particular sort of array and setup, and we'll split it out into the correct sort of places. And then, yeah, everything will just render out perfectly fine and we will be happy about it. So, yeah. All right, I am just solving a Rubik's Cube very, very quickly. All right. Cool. And all right. Now that should work. I need to get the backend to do stuff now because we're just returning that. So we've actually got an object, and I know we did this the other day. We actually had a look at it. So it's this, we're returning back an object data. Now, do we just do JSON response? All right. Cool. We don't want to do the JSON response up here with the code and all that kind of stuff because we still want to check this. Just in case it sends back nothing or it breaks or anything like that, we're like, all right. I'm going to hit refresh. I'm going to select customer. We're going to go next. We're going to select socks the fluffy butt. Ooh, it didn't like it. Object of query set is not JSON serializable. All right, I have mucked up. So we're going to go back to the data. We're going to be like, all right, cool. Let's actually see what I did here. So we get all the data, and then I do that. All right, cool. We're going to do that. So we're going to place that off to the right. We're going to do that very, very quickly. We're going to scroll all the way up. And I am... When we're down here with the data, we're going to go process data. So we're going to go user action required equals json.dumps list of the user action required, where the CLS equals the Django JSON encoder. And we're going to do the same with the data to be deleted. And it'll equal json.dumps and then list and then data to be deleted and then CLS equals Django JSON encoder, like so. Down here, what we want to do is json.loads and then like that, and then json.loads like that. All right, so I'm just going to resend the data here. Okay, it didn't like that. So I'm just going to refresh. We're going to go customer. We're going to go next. We're going to hit socks fluffy butt. We got data back. All right, so this is the data. So user action results. We've got project requirements. Ooh, all right. That's not how I wanted it. Okay, not a problem. We might need to do that up here. This action up here instead. So I'm just going to comment those out. We're just going to go JSON.dumps, then list this, and then CLS equals Django JSON encoder, like so. The results down here. Oh my God. So we're just going to go data to be deleted, type equals delete data. All right, we haven't defined delete data yet, but what we're going to do is delete data, and then we're going to go delete data equals JSON dot dumps, and then list, and then delete data, and then CLS equals Django JSON encoder. I'm hoping for the best. I will need to neaten that up. So I'll need to do something like that. All right, so, and then that should be fine. Famous last words. We're just gonna hit refresh. We're gonna hit customer. We're gonna hit next. We're gonna hit socks fluffy butt. We've broken something already. All right. The JSON objects must be string, bytes, or byte array, not dictionary. All right, where do you get that? User action required. All right. Okay. Do I need another level of processing? This is just me playing around with it. Worst case scenario, what I can actually do is we're using the Django REST framework. We've got access to the serializers. Worst case scenario, I pass this through one of the Django REST framework serializers and go, all right, here's what the data structure is going to be like. Can this be done? And just feed it the data and then hope for the best. Who knows? All right, we just hit an ad break. So yeah, welcome back. For those on YouTube, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch so people don't get pre-rolled ads. Don't worry about them. I do this so no one misses out on any content. So yeah. Anyway, I'm just quickly solving this. Okay. All right, just solve that. And I'm gonna cheat. I'm curious how this works. Oh, I got data. It's doing that thing. All right. All right. Okay, not a problem. We're gonna figure this out. So yeah, it's got a couple of ideas, but yeah, the backup with the Django serializers, that one should work. Fingers crossed. Fan fast words. Okay. All right, this is almost done. I think we are back now. So welcome back, everyone. So we'll go back to workstation. All right, so it didn't work. It flat packed everything, and we're just like. So what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do that. And we're going to scroll all the way down here. And this is GPR search data. We could just get rid of this and go return HTTP response and then JSON.dumps list results CLS equals Django JSON encoder with the content type equals application/JSON. All right, I don't know if that's going to work. It probably won't. Sorry, I'm going to stand up because I'm realizing I'm getting really restless. Alright, we're going to hit refresh. We're going to hit customer. We're going to go next. We're going to go socks fluffy butt, and we've hit an issue. So JSON object must be string, bytes, or byte array, not dictionary. Alright, cool. JSON object, we can... Okay, with JSON loads... Okay. Might be one of those things. Alright, we're gonna do this. So, I think it's failing on here, but that's perfectly fine. What we'll do is we'll get to here. And I'm just going to put a breakpoint here. I actually want to see what the data looks like when I get to that point, and that's all. So we're just going to hit refresh. We're going to do custom. We're going to do socks fluffy butt, and it's earlier than that. All right, cool. So it's actually the data up here that we're running. This breaks everything. Alright. I'm going to step back, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go user action required type equals empty query set. Alright, and then this one, we're not going to do anything like that. And then we're just going to do this down here. We're going to go user action required, and that's just going to be user action required, and then data to be deleted. That's just going to be data to be deleted. All right, easy done. We're going to wait for it to come back. We're going to go customer, we're going to go socks fluffy butt. We've got this here. So if I hover over the results, we're going to open it up. We've got a dictionary, and then we've got another dictionary, and then we've got query sets. So if I close all of these, and I'm going to open up this, and I'm going to go Python, sorry, Django, JSON multi-level dictionary. All right, payload features, dump data. Ooh, all right. Try to use payload as. Okay. So it's saying dump at every single level. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit play. That's just going to go all the way forward. That's perfectly fine. I don't know if this is going to work. We'll find out in a second. We're going to go customer. We're going to go in here. Socks fluffy butt. We've hit this again. So I'm going to open up this. We've got it all. So user action is a string. That's a string. So we've got a dictionary here. That's good. So then we need to convert that again. So that will be just gonna hit play. Oh, that's not what we wanted. We've got results equals JSON.dumps, and then we've got list results CLS equals Django encode. I'm going to put a breakpoint there. I'm going to hit refresh. Alright, we're going to go customer, go to the next. We're going to go socks fluffy butt. We're going to go back down here. We're going to have a look at our results. That's not what we want. It looks like it's taking values off. Not what I want. Not what I want at all. Alright. I just want to try one more thing. I'm just going to go play in here. And I want to scroll up. Now, saying do that and then do that. All right, we just got to wait. We're going to hit refresh. We've got the customer. We're going to go next. We've got the socks fluffy butt. We're going to go back down here. We've got our results, and it has. I do not like that at all. Because if I put the breakpoint sooner, we just go play. We're in here. We're going to hit refresh again. We're going to hit customer. Easy done. Gonna hit socks fluffy butt. The results, if we open them up. Yeah, we've got, So it's with this last dump. We've got the list in here. That's maybe why. Alright, we'll what we'll do, we'll wait 2 seconds, hit reload, get this up, we go customer, we go next, we go socks, fluffy butt. In here, we've got the results. I'm just going to move forward 1. And now we've got the results, and now, that's probably where I've been screwing up. And then, here's the wrong thing to do. But I'm just going to hit play. Yeah, it's the wrong thing to do there. And I think we've got to do that. I'm getting rid of the breakpoint. We're going to hit reload. We're going to do that. Alright, it didn't like that. Yeah, we're just going to do that. Oop. No, thank you. Oh, I need to set safe parameter false. All right, easy done. All right, cool. Not quite. So I think we've got to have JSON.loads there. And then we go customer, and then we go string, and then boom. It's doing the cutoff again. All right. Because yeah, I've got to have all of the things under there. And what I'm going to do is I am going to tick that, and I'm just going to hit refresh. We're going to do this once more, just the last time, before I go and say, no, we're doing this in a different way. So we've got here, we've got the results. Oh, it doesn't have them there. So it started to be deleted, and then it's just got them as an array. Okay, that's actually informal. I think I've made a mistake by putting a list in there. Alright, so we're waiting a couple of seconds. We're going to hit reload. We're going to hit our customer. We're going to hit our next. We're going to hit our socks fluffy butt. We've got a 500 error. Type of query set is not JSON serializable. All right, so yeah, user action required. Yeah, we've got to put that as a list. I'm just going to ignore that one for the moment. We're just going to focus on this one. Oh, God. User action required. I'm just going to go user action required. I'm just going to feed that one through. So we've got this. We're opening up our results. We still just see it as that. We don't see it as individual. Have I done something wrong? Well, most likely I have done something wrong. Let's not lie. So what I'm going to do is, before we actually do any of this, I'm going to actually have a breakpoint there. And we're going to refresh. We're going to be like, all right, customer. All right, socks fluffy butt. All right, we're getting data. So if we have a look at this user data required, yeah, we've got something like that. And I think if I open up that, we have something in project that we want to show. I think it's getting lost down here. So what I need to do is, I think I need to put it in here. So I think we need a JSON dumps. Now this will be a list, and the CLS equals the Django JSON encoder. So I reckon we've got to do that there. I'm just going to hit play. We're going to hit refresh. We're going to go customer. We're going to go socks fluffy butt. We're going to have a look at this now. We're going to extend it. So we've still got that. That's a string in there. So when we go over it, it loses it. All right, but what if I do something like that? I think this is the case where we need the serializations and stuff like that. Alternatively, if we were to do this, we could easily add in keywords and actually apply a filter on the front end. That's not going to be a problem. It just means that the front end will be doing quite a lot of work, especially if this is a large system. So yeah, we wanted to get as much done as possible in the back end than the front end. And that's not, not quite, but it's passing data through. Okay, we are getting somewhere. So we don't need to do it here, but we need to do JSON.loads, I think, here. So we go from that that string back into a JSON object here. All right, so we're gonna hit refresh. We're gonna try that again. Not dictionary, user. All right. I've got one more plan. This is not ideal. All right. I'm gonna see how that turns out. All right. This is what we want. Okay, cool. So the one problem with this is, yeah, we need to do it in a certain order to get it in a certain way. That's just figuring it out. So we're going to clean up our code right now. We're actually going to comment our code. So convert the JSON to a string and then back into JSON format. So yeah, it needs to go back into a string and then into a JSON format. That way it loses the query class entirely and it becomes a JSON structure. We then add it into where we want it to go. So the deleted data, we'll do this very, very quickly. So the deleted data, we'll need to dump it like that, and then we need to go deleted data. We need to go through a JSON loads to put it into the JSON format, and then that gets put into our object, which can easily be transferred into a JSON object. So we just need to now get rid of all of that. That's not needed. That's not needed. In fact, it's just going to be data to be deleted, and that's just going to be data to be deleted, like that. So that should run. So if we go into customer, we go into next, we then go into socks fluffy butt, we get our data, we're clicking over here, so we've got user data up here, sweet, that's what we wanted, and we've got data to delete, perfect. We've got a bunch of requirements that the customer is connected to, perfect. So with this bit of information, what we can actually do is, yeah, we can get that information. Yeah, no, I'm happy with that. Okay, cool. All right. So when they hit the next, we can then start rendering the data on here perfectly fine. So the front end is getting it. We now need to just sort of key it in. This is where we got to think about, all right, cool, this is how we want to render everything out. This is how we're going to lay everything out. Yes. Oh, sorry. All right. I'm just wondering if the data to be removed should be done first. Now the problem is we actually need everything to be a target blank for these particular cases. And I'm trying to remember if I keyed that in. I think I did. All right, so if I close that, if I open up this, let's go into our source, our JavaScript. Let's go into render. We've got the toast, we've got the user card list, we've got the object card. This is what we use pretty much everywhere. So if we scroll down into our procs, we've got the destination. All right, cool, that passes down as a string. We've got the import variable, so that's an object. With the default header, ID, title, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be passing that through. We've got the search results. So that will be passed through also. We'll have the ID to, ooh, status. Actually, status might be used. All right. Okay. So I'm just trying to think if we want to actually use this, but the one problem is we don't have an option to target blank, and we could easily put it in here with a default false. And then up here where we've got this for editor, and then if we have something in there, we can target blank. I mean, that's very easy to put in. And thank you very much, Darla, for the follow. Welcome, welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. So, yeah, what that would be up here is a simple vbind target equals, and then we'll just have a target in there. Now, if it's going to be blank, as in like nothing in there, it shouldn't matter. And then we do that on everything. And then I think that's a very elegant and easy sort of solution. That way we won't need to actually go back to find out where this particular component is used and actually enter it in, because it will be used in quite a lot of spaces. So if we go render object card, you can instantly see that, that's a big list. So the other thing is, how are we going to render this out in a particular way? So, what I mean is, if I were to sorry, give me a couple of seconds. I'll break everything up into the page. I would have simple for loops. Cards will belong there. We're not doing it with cards. I will do it in sections. And then if there are no, what if there is no data for that section? Yeah, we can do this easily. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use the render card, and I am going to put in target in here, and we're going to test it out first. So I'm going to put in target. Type is going to be a string. Default is going to be that. Easy. And up here, what we want to do is we just want to go a vbind. It'll actually have to be on a new line. So vbind target equals, and then just put in target. Now there are two A tags on here. All right, like so. So we're just waiting 1 second. Render object card, that will actually appear under the find objects. And if we click on this, boom, it's like that. And then if we were to, let's actually find that. Hang on, let's find the component, the exact name of the component. So we've got search objects. Yep, that's list search results. So that'll be under search. There'll be list search results. On here, we've got that. Oh yeah, we enabled pagination and all that kind of fun stuff. So render card object. Render card object. Render object card, sorry. Oh, hang on. I won't be able to use this. All right, cool. We've got an ad break. I am going to have to revert those changes because I've made a little tiny mistake, but that's perfectly fine. I've gone too far up the tree. I've got to go a little bit down further. So in here, or am I just going crazy? Probably a bit of both. All right, I'm not actually using that anyway. All right. No. Oh, wait, yep. Okay, cool. I've just reverted my code. Yeah, it's because it would render a card, and we don't want it to render a card. We actually want to render just the little tiny component itself. Yeah, that's render object card. Hang on, I am... Yeah. Oh, maybe. Okay, just hang on. All right. Sorry, I'm just confusing myself. And I thought we were in an ad. Ah, we must have finished. All right, welcome back. All right, sorry, I've been confusing myself. So we've got the render card object. So what will actually happen is we'll pass down information into this, which is fine. What I wanted to do was with the search results. So list search results. Up here, we've got a card. I forgot that, yeah, this is in itself one of these, and I was a bit confused and stuff like that. Don't worry, we all get confused. Especially me. I just needed to write in vbind target equals underscore blank. Actually, because it is a string, it's just target underscore blank. Easy done. We're testing this out right now. So we've got to wait a couple of seconds. We're going to hit refresh. And as you see, that opens up a new tab easily. So that's what we want to do. So yes, this is correct. I had this correct. And yeah, we're just going to move forward with it. All right, cool. Yeah, I did have ads. I didn't hallucinate that. Thank Christ. All right, so now we know that the target works perfectly fine. What we want to do is we kind of want to render these components out now. So what we do, and there's two things we've got to do. We've got to have a certain shape that we pass into here that will have all of our variables and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't know if... That's my one little concern at the moment. But then again, all of these objects should have statuses. So I can feed that through. That's not going to be a problem. So now I've just got to feed through the statuses. So we do need to go back to the back end. Sorry. This is one of those things where you make a little change in the back end, you make a little change in the front end, you go back to the back end, you go back to the front end, you do a little jiggle. Yeah, we've just got to include object status in here. So we're going to go object status, and that is going to be... And if we have a look in this for the projects, all right, it's not going to like it because I have done something like that. Now I've got to wait. So we have a look in here. We've got statuses, project status. If we edit that, we've got project status. So what I need to do, I've got to do that. And then in here, I will have object status, and that will be a requirement status under requirement status. All right, so the reason why we've got to do the double is because it's a foreign key. We've got to get to that foreign keys table, and then it's literally just the same name as the field. That's it. So we'll have object status, task status, task status. So now we've got to test everything again. So we've got the customer, we're going to go next. We've got the socks fluffy butt. We've got the data, which is great news. So here we go. If we open up this, open up the requirement. I got to include it. Give me a couple of seconds. All right, object status. All right, cool. So everything's in place. So we're just gonna wait and hit refresh. Okay, we're gonna click customer. We're gonna click socks fluffy butt. We have data. If I open up the user requirements, open up this, we should, because I keep forgetting something. All right, object status is why we test. That was a simple, silly mistake. All right, cool. We're gonna go customer. We're going to go socks fluffy butt. We've got our data. We're gonna open up this. We're gonna open up project. We've got our status. There we go. We're gonna show the user this sort of data now. So this has all been done. We're all happy with this. We can go next. We're now on data verification. So here what we want to do, and that's my chair is really squeaky. All right, so what we want to do is we've got this, we've got the data. We could and I'm just thinking we could have different variables for all areas, which will work really, really well and really simply. I think that's going to be better. Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to go down to the data. We've got a bunch of data here. And what I want to do is I want to go project results, requirement item results, and task results. So, like that, project results, requirement and requirement item results. And task. Okay. Like so. And then what we're doing is load data into structure. So this dot project results will equal response.data dot, and this is where we go user action required dot project. And then we just do it like that. Requirement results. I hit tab then, thank you very much. crime and item results, and then task results. And we're going to do like so. Data to be deleted. Yeah, this is... It's almost like I could almost just do this in a for loop. I think in the end, it is probably going to be just as easy to do it in a for loop. Yes. All right. If I do it in a for loop, I can actually get rid of any data being sent down. Alright, and what I mean is, instead of having an empty array down here, I could just not send any data. Yeah. I'm just having a think whether that would be better to do that. But I'm overcomplicating the code. We've already got a couple of for loops in there. It's going to be nested for loops. We've already got the data structure coming out. We know what it's going to be like, so it's fine having it like this. Hell, in fact, we could potentially just simplify it. I'm going to lean on no, mainly because we're just overcomplicating the code. It's pausable. So what we could potentially do is we could do a check on the back end, being like, hey, is there data? Cool. Insert the data. If there isn't any data, it's like, hey, move on. That way it only sends you the required data. We won't have all of the structure. What you do then, you go, all right, cool, put this user action required in here, loop through each of the object keys, and then in that list, we can render out this. We can then pass that list through to the bottom with all the data and stuff like that. But I'm also remembering each of those items will have a different structure and stuff like that. So it's going to be easier to not do any of that, sadly. So I'm going to lean on a big no in this sort of case. We're going to keep the code as nice and neat as possible, and we know that there's going to be extra variables in there. We know we're going to be doing something like this. That will be fine. So the other thing we should also look at very, very quickly is we should look into the search. So we're going to go, I'm losing track of everything up here, so I'm going to minimize everything. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to open up source, JavaScript, our components, search page. So list search results. Import type variables. All right. This will be with the search page, won't it? Search object, here we go. So with the search object, we've actually got down here, the project variables, Kanban variables, and all of those kind of stuff. We're actually going to nick all of this. So we're just going to go all the way down here. I'm hoping someone at JetBrains fixes that bug. it's not this mouse, because the same thing happens on my Mac. Alright. We're going to go over here. We've got the data. I am just going to paste it in, knowing full well that there's some stuff in here we don't need. Kanban variables we don't need. The project variables, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start moving this up around. Requests for change we don't need. Requirement results, that will go up there easily. Requirement item results, we will need to actually make the requirement item results. We don't need that. We don't need, that's how we've done it in this sort of way, but that's fine. We don't need that. We don't need the search results. We do need the task results, and status is fine. We just need the requirement item variables. All right, so that will be an object that will have header requirement item. We'll have a prefix of item. All right, the title will be title. The status will be status. Actually, these will change in this sort of case because we've actually got object title, object status, and all that kind of stuff. And object ID. So I'm just going to quickly paste these in here. Get rid of these ones. Alright. So these are actually needed just to help render it. So I'm going to have these sort of structured up like this. It's going to be a bit verbose. Yeah, there's a reason why I'm not going to loop through all this, because then I have to set up all of this and there's another object. We're keeping the code simple in this sort of case. So this is the GTR wizard one. So we've got to add data in here. As you see, this is getting really, really big already. So what we want to do is, I'm just wondering if we can have it as another div row in here, and then we have a simple for loop and all that kind of fun stuff. That is a good question. Okay. Or I can have two VF statements. I mean, actually I won't need a VF statement whatsoever. I just need to call these things how they are. So it's render object card. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that all the way down there. I'm just going to go render object card. We're going to pull one up right now. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. We're going to paste it in. We're going to, it's just Max Socks. It's okay. Max. You want to say hi to Stocks? You want to be like, hey, Stocks? There you go. He's like, oh God, it's so high up here. Alright, so we just need to do the target, which will be blank. And then it's just going to be like the project results. Alright, sweet. So, at least I'm being consistent with the naming, because considering I pulled this out from somewhere else, I've got the project results, project variables, they already exist. What we want is target equals underscore blank. Sweet, it picked up all of those other things too. I'm going to keep it that at the moment, because I know I've got project. I'm going to hit reload. We're going to hit customer. We're going to hit next. We're going to hit socks fluffy butt. We've got the data. Boom. That's how we want it. And what's going to happen is a user's going to click on this and it's going to open up in a new tab. The person's going to check out the data in here. They can modify it themselves. So, oh, we need a checkbox. I just realized that. All right. Okay. I'm just wondering, because these are sorry, give me a couple of minutes whilst I think about this. The one problem is I can't have that rendering everywhere else. This card is actually used in quite a lot of different places. However, what I could potentially do is have one render object card tick box, checkbox, or something like that. It could be the same, almost the same as that, but have a checkbox, and we can pass through extra variables. We'll also need to deal with the models of that. So if someone makes a change, it gets ported up and then pushed into the correct spot. We would then have a, it would be, yeah, because there's all different places and stuff like that. I mean, it could potentially work. I'm also trying to think, we've got linked objects and stuff like that. So if I were to go to this, we've got something like that. And that would be good to sort of reuse. And then we've just got to flag the modal for that. I am going to check what we actually use for that particular thing. So we're going to go into view. We're going to go into, it'll be part of the parents module, part of the links wizard. Maybe not. Part of the parents module. New link wizard. Okay, so if I open up this. Okay, new link wizard. Oh, I've actually built it into the link wizard. Okay, I'm gonna have a look at that. So in the new link wizard, we've got all of this. Got all of that. Oh, I have two. Now, so I could potentially do that. That's another thing I could do. But the one problem is I do kind of want to separate it at object types. In which case then I've got to go back to the for loop and do all of that kind of crazy stuff. However, it can be done, but there'll be loops within loops. In this sort of case, it's easy to just be like, all right, here's the data, send it to a child component. I'm probably going to have to do this in child component. And then what actually happens is when the data is actually changed, we actually send that data upstream. So yeah, and if we have a look at this search one, if I go into projects, let's say I look at, look at the components, new link. We have in here the link model, that's an array. And as I tick things, we've got IDs appearing in there. Which we can do, we can then just separate the link models out. Okay, cool. So, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go and essentially clone that component and turn it into a one which can be ticked. From there, what we've got to do is we've got to actually have the ability to get that data, store it, and then send that data up into its parent. From there, the parent can easily just go, all right, cool, when I send this data, I've just got all this data, I can just group it together and be happy, hoopity, hippity ha. Not gonna be a problem. So, yes. All right, cool. It is past 10 o'clock. I've pretty much just worn myself out then. So I'm probably gonna say, let's raid someone. We raided those. We haven't raided Anna in a while. We raided them last week. Zero Day we raided last week. I'm gonna say Anna. Anna Sastev. All right. Anyway, thank you very much everyone for coming tonight. It has been wonderful. We got a lot done. So it looks like over the next couple of streams we can actually get this completed, at least at the minimal viable product, which will be great. We then need to sort of plan out unit tests for this particular thing. We need to do a lot of unit tests anyway. So yeah, we should get that sorted sooner rather than later, knowing me. Anyway, thank you very much for tonight, and I hope to see you guys on Monday. So yeah, thank you. And for those on YouTube, I do apologize. You won't be able to follow us with the raid. Please don't forget to subscribe and like, greatly appreciated. And hopefully I shall see you guys on Monday too. So yeah, thank you very much.